California will no longer use grand juries in cases involving police shootings of civilians after Governor Jerry Brown, a Democrat, signed a bill banning the secret deliberations. SB 227, which was authored by State Senator Holly Mitchell, makes California the first state in the United States to ban the use of grand juries to decide whether law enforcement should face criminal charges in use of force cases. And we've previously discussed that grand juries are far less likely to indict police shooters than civilian shooters. And we could hypothesize as to why that is. One option would be, well, the cases brought to grand juries involving police use of force are weaker cases and thus are more often correctly not followed with an indictment. But that's a very sort of pulled from the sky hypothesis because there's no actual evidence whatsoever to support that. More likely is another combination of factors, which would be grand juries made up of people that are usually too protective of police image is a factor, combined with a sort of deference to police officers that's not prescribed by the law with regard to these shootings. And all of those factors together can sort of create more of a benefit of the doubt for grand juries with regard to police actions. And I think that this is going to be a very interesting decision, Lewis, to track whether it changes the percentage of these cases involving police use of force that are ultimately followed by an indictment. Will it change or will it remain the same after we eliminate the use of a grand jury?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting move. I would still like to see, you know, independent prosecutors here. You know, bring in the prosecutors from somewhere else. I think that is probably the best thing you can do in cases like this. But of course, to decide if those charges should be there, well, yeah, I think this makes sense and it's an interesting experiment.
I agree with you because it's not an obvious win to say no more grand juries because prosecutors work with police all the time. There can still be a conflict of interest there, but you can at least peel back sort of one layer of the problem. Layer two would be even if you bring in different prosecutors from a different geographical area, those prosecutors still work with police regularly, just the police in their area, and you may still have this sort of extrajudicial deference to police that may not be indicated by the law. This is a very interesting way forward. The data suggested that something needed to be done with regard to grand juries and police shootings. California has done something, and now we will ultimately see whether there's a change in the indictment percentage. Would you predict, Lewis, that we would see a higher rate of indictment on police use of force cases once we remove grand juries, or would you not be surprised to see it unchanged?
I think if anything, you will see a higher rate of indictment here. That's my guess.